Are you stressed and filled with anxiety like I am? Maybe in a bit of pain from that car accident you had a few years ago? Well, the sponsor of today's episode, Hempville CBD, has us covered. They have the highest quality products created by chemists and doctors. Hempville carries everything from CBD to THC dispensary grade without those despicable dispensary prices. Order your Delta 8, 9 edibles and vapes along with the THCA flower and get free shipping when you spend $50 or more at hempvillecbd.com. Check out the link in the description for more details.
Welcome to the Filmistines, the podcast where we discuss all things movies. Join us as we dive deep into the latest releases, revisit classic films, and explore the art of cinema. Whether you're a film fanatic or just love a good flick, we've got you covered. From Hollywood blockbusters to indie gems, we'll be breaking down the storytelling, cinematography, and everything in between. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and get ready for some cinematic magic. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/Filmistines. We offer tiers at the $1, $5, and $20 level, where the $5 tier will grant the ability to request films for future episodes. This is the Filmistines, where movies are more than just entertainment, they're an experience. All around you. And welcome back to another episode of the Filmistines. Thank you for joining us today. I am joined today by my Halloween-loving friend, Lucy.
Hello, everyone.
You can join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for brand new episodes of the Filmistines. Some recent episodes include Ford vs. Ferrari, The Nun 2, Saw X, and the new Five Nights at Freddy's. That's not very good.
Yep, it sucked.
But today we are discussing the David Gordon Green re-sequel of The Exorcist, The Exorcist Believer.
Excuse me, re-sequel? Another sequel?
Because it's a sequel
Of the first one.
of the first one, sort of, but it's really a reboot. Or isn't that what they're calling them? Or a re-sequel? Re-seeboot?
Requel?
Requel. Is that what I said?
No, I don't know.
I like
wasn't
requel
listening.
a little better. So The Exorcist has a pretty important place in cinema history, right? We've seen it. It's a borderline a comedy today, right?
Yep.
It's good. It's very good, with the exception of the makeup, of course.
Of course.
But this movie has been getting a lot of hate, and I'm not sure why. Because it's not great. I mean, of course, it's not great, but it's not bad. I don't understand where this negativity is coming from. It's better than most Blumhouse productions, I will say. It's very middle-of-the-road film as far as possession movies go, I think. It's got some highs. It's got a lot of mids. Not an awful lot of lows, I would say. I think it's a very mid film, almost from point A to point Z. I think it's got some weirdness that we'll talk about here in a second, but I'm very curious, because I know you guys spooked, what you have to say about The Exorcist Believer.
So it was definitely a miss, but not a bad miss, you know. It wasn't Five Nights at Freddy's. It wasn't Insidious the Red Door. It wasn't that bad.
That's what people are making it out to be, and that's just fundamentally false.
Yeah, they're exaggerating on the bad stuff or on the stuff they didn't like, for sure.
I think two things in particular probably too. We'll talk about here in a second.
Yeah, so I like that the technology is now advanced enough that we can make these two little girls look nasty as fuck. So I absolutely love that. The practical effects and just the transition on how they start looking in the beginning to how they end up. You know, their toenails are falling off. There's oozing and, you know, they look nasty.
They look pretty good, yeah. I agree. If Blumhouse is pretty good at anything, it is the effects part, including CG and makeup and just the whole how they make things kind of look. I would say Blumhouse is pretty good at handling that part.
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
And maybe even extrapolate that a little bit to production design with a lot of films like Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yes, we didn't have a lot here. You know, it's all pretty much basic. It's a house, it's a chair, it's whatever it is. So there's no need for it. So maybe they couldn't go all out at this in the set here because there's nothing to go all out on. But I really like the concept of a double possession, like we have here. I really love it. It's what I
I like it. I like the double possession, but it feels, and it is exactly this. It's like, do you remember when Regan was possessed? How about 2 little girls possessed? It's like, okay.
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that too, especially in something that's kind of schlocky like this, and that's fine. I think there's a couple problems in the way that we maybe discuss Exorcist and the legacy of the Exorcist, because the original Exorcist is, through today's lens, is mostly and also a schlocky horror or possession film that has, a mark above, but not much in acting and performances.
I guess besides that, I didn't either enjoy it or I think it just sucked.
You think it just sucked in places?
In places, yeah.
Okay.
I either didn't enjoy it in several places or I think it just sucked in several places. With the story and trying to tie Regan back into it and bring in the mom in. I don't know. I don't know how I felt about that. But, I'm sure we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
There were too many sides, too many B plots or C plots, whatever,
Maybe a D plot in there too. Yeah. It was weird, and that no doubt has a little bit to do with not great writers and maybe some pre-production in there dealing with the fact that we're like, okay, we're going to ratchet it up a little bit with 2 little girls possessed. So we got to bring in both families. We got to bring in multiple faiths. We got to all come together and stuff, which there's some of that I like, but what else?
I liked that the demon was nasty. He said some nasty things, but he wasn't quite as nasty as the first one. That's another thing too that I didn't quite get, and maybe you'll clarify for me, or maybe it was just confusing for everybody, but I wasn't sure if this demon was the same demon from the first movie.
Yeah, that's a question people have, and it seems like people just latch on one side with no evidence. And I think it's kind of the innocent until proven guilty situation where we were not given the evidence that this was Regan's demon.
Well, there was something that happened in the movie that made me think it was.
Was it when she was writing Regan on the side?
No, it was when the mom confronted, I think Catherine, the little white girl, and she said, "Well, we meet again," like something like that. I think the little girl said it to Regan's mom. I don't know her name. Chris, yeah, and she said it to her, and Regan says, "Hi from hell" or something like that. So the whole time I thought this was the same demon. Until I read things online that it wasn't the same demon, and then I got all confused reading stuff online.
And it's a little confusing because demons are always going to be the smartest guys in the room.
That's fucking true,
where
Jesus.
They're just going to fuck with you until you pick sides with them. They're like...
until you give them what they want.
Yeah. So the reality of, I guess, the narrative in this sense is... we can't trust the demon. If the demon's doing something, you can't trust, it as evidence to support any kind of thought you might have towards.
Okay.
I didn't catch that. That would have... it's still a little like... because the demon also said, you'll see Regan in hell soon or whatever, right? What you just said. Regan's not dead.
Right.
So, just another reason to not believe in... just one of millions of reasons from millions of different movies and with all these demons to not believe what the demon is saying, right?
Yeah, I guess, but does the demon go around telling everybody we meet again until it hits, or what? Or demons know everything about other demons? There's a tight-knit demon community?
It's definitely not that defined. But demons... but what we do know about all demons is they read your thoughts. And Chris here is definitely thinking, no. She's probably having PTSD. She's like, She's not okay.
Okay, all right.
No matter how controlled she is in her mind, or with her presence. I mean, she's worried about the situation, right? She's a human being still. She's not this transcended monk who forgot how to walk, because he's just, doing his thing. But so I don't think it was the demon, and I also don't think it's really relevant to anything that happened in the movie. I also don't think Chris is relevant to anything that happened in the movie. I think that was the weirdest tie to an old movie that I've ever seen in my life. They paid $400 million to get the so-called rights to The Exorcist.
Dumb.
What are the rights to The Exorcist? What is the franchise? It's not the Avengers. It's not, or Marvel or whatever, DC. It's not Pokemon. The Exorcist is nothing. It doesn't have a world, you know? That's a very odd thing. I guess they're basically paying for the right to include Chris and Regan in the same characters in a possession movie. What makes this an Exorcist movie? I guess the same demon could help justify that, but
Yep.
you can't justify that based off of what a demon says. You know, we need more context. Maybe the other movies will answer that. I'm not sure. But I thought that was really strange. And then just the only reason Chris got involved was because Victor heard about her book and her survival story, basically. So he reached out to her, talked to her, which is totally fucking weird. That whole conversation's weird. Everything. I was just like, this is why people hate this movie. This one instance, or, you know, these instances that deal with Chris. And Victor bringing her to see one of the little girls get stabbed, sent to the hospital. That's it.
Yeah, that whole, all of it was weird.
It was very weird. And I can see that being a pretty good reason to not like this movie. But it's such a small part and so just... I don't know how it can make you hate the movie. Like, it seems like a lot of people just are like, this is one of the worst things to happen this year.
Well, it was because their expectations were high.
They were high, yeah. And I think people have a little weird thing against David Gordon Green, because I think people feel weird against his Halloween series because he tried to take it in a new way, and I think he
completely botched them?
No, I think they're some of the better Halloween films.
Oh.
But a lot of people don't think so.
Oh.
And he sort of, but didn't really. He kind of non-committed to the idea of replacing Michael Myers as the killer. Like him kind of having an apprentice.
That's fine. Yeah.
That sounds like that could be maybe pretty cool.
Yeah.
And there's some cool sequences and stuff throughout. I mean, the first Halloween's not great. Just saying. So I don't know what the defense is with that. The first Exorcist is important and iconic, but it's not a amazing film. You know, it's a great film, but it's not. It'll be only remembered in its kind of consequential nature to what would happen later with cinema. Not that it's a Citizen Kane, not that it's a 2001: A Space Odyssey, not that it's a Godfather. It'll be probably forgotten entirely in 500 years. Some of these other movies will not. So I think there's a weird defense there too with this. So I think there's just a weird feeling toward David Gordon Green that's just ill-founded, and people need to just chill out with him, I think.
I don't know, man, because it was so bad bringing her back in. It was so bad. They didn't even try.
No, they didn't.
They made the movie. It's like they made 3 different movies and decided to smash them together.
It sounds like they wanted Chris to be the main character originally.
And she didn't want to?
And she didn't want to. They had a hard time getting her involved, period. They wanted her for the original Exorcist 2 back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't want to have any part with it. And Regan did. But, so I imagine there was probably some kind of vision there to really make it an Exorcist movie, like a proper sequel. But it ended up being just not. It reminded me a lot of Scream, where our tangential story kind of dealt with the original trio.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't commit to any actual little B plot happening there. It just was like, do you remember Chris? She survived the original Exorcist. And then at the very end, they're like, do you remember Regan?
She's here.
She's here. So, I don't know. It's a weird thing. And it makes me think it's hard to blame David Gordon Green because he didn't spend the $400 million to ask Chris and Regan's, actors if they would come and do this. They basically spent all that money just to be in a position to legally ask them to participate. And so not to defend him in a production sense, but the rest of it's, I think, pretty fine. It's like, it's fine. It's
The
not dog shit.
The non-Chris parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just okay though. It definitely doesn't deserve the backlash it's getting. But I mean, I'm kind of in agreement too, because it does leave a bad taste in your mouth when you have these characters that you're so excited to see, or not. I don't know how advertised it was that Chris was making a comeback and that Regan was potentially here.
They tried to keep it secret.
Okay.
So they made a somewhat of a big deal about it.
So I don't know. I just don't like the direction they took that and how just bad it was. And it's been a while, not too long, but it's been a while since I've seen The Exorcist. I don't remember a lot of it, but I remember enough that some of the things the mom said just didn't make sense.
She was a completely different character too.
Yeah. So if you're going to do that, if you're going to bring her back and you can't have much, screen time with her, do something else. Don't do what you did. Because I think at one point she says that she wasn't allowed in the room to see the exorcism because of the patriarchy. Like, bitch, you weren't allowed in the room because you weren't a priest and because it was a dangerous situation and because no one wanted you seeing your daughter like that in case she fucking died. I don't know. So, I don't know. That was a what moment.
That was weird, yeah.
Like, what are you doing with this character? So I understand why the fans are mad.
But at the same time, I feel like it should first make you ask yourself, what makes this an Exorcist film, an Exorcist sequel?
Nothing besides that the little girls look like Regan. Look like how Regan could have looked in today's time.
Yeah.
Especially that little white girl. Man.
Yeah.
She looked just like her, towards the end, in better makeup. And that's it. I guess I don't remember this scene, but people like to recall like the hospital scene. Apparently that was a big thing. That was from the first Exorcist. That was like a shout out. I don't know what you call it in movie.
Homage. Depends on how tastefully done it is.
Okay, well, that was an homage to the first movie, like some of the hospital scenes.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that just because we're at a hospital. Is that why they're saying that?
I think the banging on the glass.
Oh, okay, maybe I don't remember because that was what I remember from the hospital scene. Is it's a good example of this is something that's not in the realm of modern science. We don't know how to approach the situation, kind of thing. And I don't know. We didn't get any in the hospital. We only got some jump scares. Well, that's not true. But I did like when they were just founded, I liked the crowdedness of everybody asking them questions and being like, when they're just like in a complete trance and stuff. I did like that a lot. That was cool. No, I get it. I don't know. It's just people, it's as good. I don't know. I'm so like, this is as good as, this is at the very least as good as the most recent Scream, which it wasn't very good. It was okay, but people liked that one.
They did?
Yeah. And it's not, I'm just a little confused on exactly what's up with this. Like Smile was another one people liked. It's not very good.
Oh, I loved Smile. That was creepy as shit.
You liked Smile?
Yes.
I didn't think Smile was very good at all. See, it's just, you just never know. It feels like everybody's leaning on this one though in the other direction. And I feel like this is just a very forgettable. It's not offensive like people feel like what it feels like people are taking it. I guess I don't know. I'm so hung up on what exactly that is because it's not anything. It has to be something very specific. It either what are you gonna say though?
It's the expectation.
I just can't empathize with that. I don't.
Well, how many times did we say, man, when we watched it together, did we say, man, an Exorcist movie in today's film industry would be fucking awesome? And it wasn't. It wasn't fucking awesome. It was just okay. It was just cool.
Yeah, I guess having the expectation going in it and not immediately realizing can have that effect. But I just feel like I don't know. I still feel that way. A proper, Ari Aster style remake, retelling could be really cool because it's very, character driven and performance driven and set design driven and stuff. This was from the get-go something else. It was almost more than anything an exercise of God testing Victor that community, family, faith is important. And so it was just, why the fuck did they spend $400 million on The Exorcist, the rights, and make this film? I'm so fucking confused.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I guess I haven't sorted that out. Maybe I will hate this in another 24 hours. I'm just like, this is a mess on some level, but it's mostly, I don't know. I'm confused, I guess. I'm just in a very confused state of mind right now.
Well, I'm not confused. If you were going to make these two little girls possessed, why did we only focus on one family?
It almost felt like we should have focused on one girl in the first movie. Focus on something, maybe the other girl in the second movie, and then the third movie is the climax of whatever that looks like.
The merge.
Merge. Maybe they literally merge Evil Dead Rise style. That'd be weird. Maybe cool. But no, I get that because the white parents become so just stupid.
Yeah.
It makes...
Even their names on Wiki, they don't have a last name. Only Victor and Angela do. Did they forget to give them last names? I don't understand why they were put on the side plot.
That's interesting. Wow. Catherine doesn't even. And
yeah.
She's our main supporting character, kinda. Main supporting character. She supports the main supporting character.
That's too much.
That's funny. Yeah, they were sort of annoying, I guess I would say. They kind of annoyed me, especially the dad. The dad was just completely out of his element, I guess. Not in a good character way, but just in a weird character way. I don't fucking know how I feel about this movie, man.
Yeah, and if you would have taken all the bits with Chris and Regan and all that nonsense and maybe developed this family, Catherine's family a little bit better, it could have been a better film. How much time did we waste trying to convince Chris to go, I don't know, go what? Talk to the demon? She's not performing an exorcism. She can't. Although then towards the end of the movie, anyone can perform one, I guess, as long as you believe, right? So it was a big miss with them. The dad was annoying. The mom was annoying. And, the mom immediately saying, oh, I know what this is. Jesus was gone for 3 days and burned his feet in hell. And at first I was like, oh, okay, I like that explanation. But then the more I thought about it, the more it just didn't make sense that she said that so quickly. Like, we don't know her enough for that to make sense, for her to say that at that moment. She's like, well, I know what's wrong with them. They're clearly possessed. They were gone for 3 days.
Those Baptists.
Their feet burned in hell. That's why their feet look the way they do. Okay, all right. And then I feel like they could have gone nastier with the demon.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially in the church scene with Catherine. They had such a great opportunity to do something there. To do something just kind of there.
I totally feel you. That is a major problem with Blumhouse, I think, in general, is they don't take things far enough when it's really needed.
Yeah.
And it's not like a kid-friendly thing per se, but it feels like they just don't... It feels like these movies should be airing on a sci-fi channel kind of contemporary, and that they just don't... They like give you the outline for something maybe fun and schlocky and just shit that you just put on just because you're into horror, but they don't deliver on anything that really matters. And the violence and the grossness and the things that we love from crazy ass demons really suffer from that way of handling production.
Yeah. And watching it, they say, oh, Catherine, get ready. We're going to church, or you got church in the morning. And then, on to Angela. So we get the Angela bit, and then she goes crazy. She goes berserk. She starts doing shit. And I'm like, oh my God, the other little girl, it's morning time. She's at church and she's experiencing what this little girl's experiencing. I was so excited for that.
Yeah.
And they dropped the ball. And the preacher dude was still preaching while she was walking down the aisle saying the body and the blood. I don't know what she was saying.
Yeah.
And he kept preaching. Like,
yeah.
okay, you could tell that he was like a little like scared, I guess, but he kept preaching.
And his tone didn't really change
And it
much.
didn't change.
He didn't really have a strong performance to fight something so spectacular happening in the middle of fucking aisle. Yeah, this is a good instance of we should have had some kind of discourse thing within the demon or with the parents or something. Somehow we found out, or in retrospect, that because I think demons don't like to go to church.
That would make
sense. But
sense.
It would have been funny if this demon had some joke to pull out talking about how Baptists and Baptist church aren't actually real churches.
But she wasn't. Were they Baptist?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I'm pretty sure.
Do Baptists, showing my religion knowledge here, but do Baptists drink the wine and the wafer too?
Yeah. Just about everyone does that, I think.
I mean, I've been to a few Baptist churches.
I think Pentecostal does that.
And they've never done that.
I mean, I think that's usually just kind of depends on your preacher, priest, reverend. Because she made a whole point of like, we don't baptize our children. We don't baptize babies. We baptize them when they're a little older or whatever, like the Baptists do.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm confused.
Well, if they weren't Baptists, that's what they should have done and made fun of, because that would have been hardcore as shit.
Because they're doing the Holy Communion, and I thought that was only Catholic, but I don't know, because what you're saying is true about how she said that she wasn't baptized when she was little, so that's why she got possessed. I don't know. So I don't know. Did they even know?
Yeah, I don't know.
A joke would have made it better.
That would have been awesome. Making fun of a faith, making fun of a sub faith, in that they're not a real faith because of X, Y, and Z. Awesome.
Yes. And just like make a few jokes like that, mock the preacher a little bit.
Maybe I was filling in the holes in my mind, like, oh, this is actually they know what they're doing here a little bit. I'm not noticing the holes.
You're just assuming they thought what you're thinking.
Yeah, maybe.
That's funny. I did like, though, that Angela's demon, I guess they're the same demon, whatever. The demon inside Angela at the time, I did like that Angela demon said that thing to the nurse, Anne, about her, getting that abortion.
Yeah, those are cool. Those are always cool moments when demons fucking know.
And she said, you scraped it out like she was a pumpkin. That made me laugh so much.
And it
took me just a second to understand, like, scraped what out, and then it fucking hit me, and I'm like, oh no, this demon's nasty.
That was awesome. That's a great visual.
Yes.
Yeah. And
so you have that potential to get nasty.
Yeah, they're not afraid to talk about scraping out babies out of someone like a pumpkin, yeah. But they don't think about, we should make fun of specific faiths, because that would be a nice counter to the major theme of the movie, that, it doesn't really matter what faith you believe in, doesn't matter your train of thought, the power of love transcends all, the power of community transcends all. That would have been great. Yes. I guess I don't know.
There was another part of the movie that kind of caught me off guard, because I thought this would be important later on, but it wasn't. That the dad was a photographer.
Yeah, that was weird. It was weird that it didn't play a role in any of the film.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not just me that I didn't know where to tie it back to. Like, why did they show us this, just so it could be creepy?
Yeah, and I guess the counter to that is like, what was the tie? What was Chris's acting ties to the original Exorcist?
That she was rich, so she could pay for anything and every test, and that didn't fucking matter.
Yeah. And maybe there's a worldly kind of cultured mind within her.
Mm.
I don't know exactly how, but I feel like they also painted Chris as a much more fleshed out, agnostic atheist kind of person. And we get a little bit of that in Victor, but we get that only, I feel like, from one throwaway line almost, that he's like, I tried that shit, all it brought me was memories of my dead wife kind of thing or something like that.
Damn.
Remember what I'm talking about?
Yes.
It was just like, that was a weird way to paint your atheism. You know what I mean? Like, I'm atheist because God didn't help me. I guess I'm starting to like this movie less. I broke live, you guys. Because that's like finding faith, finding God, Jesus, whatever, in moments of misery and despair. And, you have this out, which can be helpful, but you need to obviously reflect on that and everything else that happened to your life. But I just feel like that was a weird way we don't know Victor. So we need like really poignant kind of little gut punches of why you don't have any faith, why you're an atheist. I don't really know if he is an atheist, but
yeah, because in the beginning of the movie, which that completely felt like a whole different movie, but he's out there
weird,
taking photos in Haiti or wherever. Haiti, is that where they were? Yeah, taking photos. His wife went and got some ritual done to her unborn baby, and he's like, oh, "Why would you do that?" I'm like, okay, this guy is just a party pooper, I guess. But that's it. That's all I took away from that. And he likes to take pictures, so we got to give him a job, and he doesn't respect people's beliefs. I don't know. Is that all? You wasted 10 minutes?
Is that what that amounted to? Okay.
I guess.
The Exorcist, the original Exorcist, starts out in a similar kind of orangey place. I think it's in the Middle East, where the guy finds a relic, I think. And it's a little off from the rest of the movie, but it's still...
So you think there's a tie-in? That's the whole point of that first bit?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of...
Another attempt at an homage.
A little bit, yeah. We're kind of in a foreign place. It's orange. It's a place that's unlike where the rest of the movie is going to take place. And I think they're looking at it like it's easy to mistake the intent of that little sequence. But I can't really remember the original Exorcist sequence. I just remember there is that sequence that's just a little off, but not off in a bad way. But this one's completely pointless, other than to give us a little context for the reveal at the very end of the movie about saving her or the baby.
Yeah.
It just felt weird.
Yeah, it was definitely out of place. We didn't need to see all that. We just needed to see maybe from when they were talking and he was taking photos and then, having a good time. Then she's like, what, I don't feel well. I'm going to go back to the hotel. And then everything after that. We didn't need anything prior to that. We didn't. Or, just kill her off some other way. Or just make him have a flashback.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
And I guess the Haiti tie just was to tie in the lady that eventually showed up.
I was so confused on that.
Like, sort of like witch doctor-esque.
Yeah, was that the neighbor?
I don't know who that was, and I don't know who that white guy who brought her in was.
They were neighbors.
He was
a neighbor.
He was a neighbor.
And Anne, the nurse,
Anne was the other neighbor.
Nun, or almost nun, wasn't the other neighbor. I don't know where the other lady came from. I know the white dude.
He brought her in.
But how would he know?
And why was he in the house?
Yeah.
That was weird.
That was weird. That was
very weird. And Victor didn't have a huge problem with it. It seemed like it was just like...
You know what I thought for a split second? That was his partner. Because he was so comfortable in that house. Like, just a split second. I was like, wait, did he get remarried and this is his partner? Like, that's how comfortable this dude was walking around. But, Victor's not a chummy neighbor type. That doesn't fit his personality for his neighbors just to be able to walk in and do what they want. He seems like the type that his neighbors don't even have a key to his place. So I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah. They painted that explicitly with Anne next door. Like, haha, she could enjoy a little excitement for the day, leaving the garbage can out and stuff. And he's the neighbor who gets nagged at by everyone because he's not really friendly.
Yeah.
It's basically how they introduce his first bit of character, because we don't get any character in the flashback or the intro sequence.
And then that guy stays for the exorcism at the end.
Yeah, who is he? What is his relation? I guess Anne makes a little more sense because she was a nurse or a doctor and she discovered her purpose in life now. God kind of gave her a new purpose. She was like, this is why I live next to you and stuff, which I like that in movies when it's tastefully done in a M. Night Shyamalan kind of way. But man, the anti-determinism and kind of ignorance that comes along with that, coming from mega religious people, I guess, just in general, or people who believe in purpose or the misunderstanding of everything happens for a reason kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That shit makes me cringe. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. That shit makes me cringe big time. But I like it. I like the convenience, or I should say, I like the coincidence thing, but I guess maybe not so acknowledged.
Okay.
Not in the way she did it. She was like, it all makes sense to me now. This is why you pissed me off. This, you forced me to care. This is why I live next to you. This is why I'm a nurse. Just like, I don't know about that, like that's now, and like I'm thinking of Lady in the Water. It's like, we're all coincidentally staying at this motel at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, because that does just coincidentally happen. When you're driving, you just stop at a hotel.
Yeah.
You don't just coincidentally become a nurse. You don't just coincidentally live next to someone, live in an area, that kind of thing. So it's like, and then chalking it up to God just makes me want to fucking. So yeah, that's all I'm saying. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I guess I am kind of starting to lean the other way.
And that end there, or towards the end, I guess, when everybody gets together from all beliefs, it just kind of felt like a diversity for diversity's sake problem.
Yes, and that's another reason why I believe they were Baptists, because they got the Catholic guy, they got this witch doctor person, we've got the renounced nun, now nurse, woman of science, we've got this artsy guy, the dad, and so we got the Baptist people. We've got this kind of eclectic group of different faiths, and so that's one reason I think that they were Baptists, because it helps tie that end in with the community.
Well, then they should have gone to a Baptist church and see how that is.
Yeah, I don't really know if the Baptists do the bread and wine, and I thought everyone did that. I've been to a few churches.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been to a few too, and the only time I've seen that is in the Catholic community. But I'm not an expert. I'm not even a novice. What is that? Is that the same thing?
You're
I'm
an
not
idiot.
even smart.
You're an idiot.
I'm just an idiot. But I didn't like that.
You didn't like that?
No.
Because I can see that working for you in a movie.
I can see that working for me if I was the character in this movie. I could see that working for, an anxiety-ridden character that's going to try everything possible. For my own exorcism, I'm going to invite everybody and anybody of all faith, of all belief systems, and have them all there with me. Yeah. And, whatever works, I'm going to risk it all. But that is me. I don't think it fits in this movie. I'm all for that. Just not here. I don't know. It just didn't. It was just like, let's be inclusive kind of deal.
Yeah, and they reminded you, I think 2 or 3 times, that they were like, every faith has some form of exorcism to expunge bad energy and spirits and stuff. I was just like, I mean, they might, but I'm just like, I don't know. That's just a little weird. I don't know. I guess diversity for diversity's sake, is it pandering to a greater thing? I don't know. Can you pander to the greater collective? Like the greatest collective. Can you pander to the greatest collective? I don't know. It's weird. It starts to enter an identity crisis situation.
Yeah.
I guess.
Sure. Don't call this The Exorcist. Call this.
You can call it The Exorcist because that's not an original name. it's just The Exorcist. I wish it was just The Exorcist.
But aren't exorcisms only performed by priests, Catholic priests, holy priests, as the nun says? Because is there a regular priest? Sure. Are there holy priests? I don't know. Are they all holy? But she said specifically, the holy priest.
The holiest.
The holiest of priests.
I don't know. Movies would like you to believe that there's a very secret organization within the Vatican that handles these situations.
Yeah.
And I think the Jews also have something similar going on, and that's kind of a secret organization. But I guess I've never seen that if you just believe as a community that, we can get rid of this.
Cast him out.
And I guess in that sense, a broken clock is right twice a day, because they really kind of stick it to the religious folks, because Victor's kid survives, as far as we know, until the next movie, I guess. It's like, he's not even a believer, but we're giving him his child back. It's like, damn, that's funny.
He believed in the power of love?
Yeah, well, I think that's the overarching thing, love and community.
But we don't have that. We never had that. And even the two little girls who are, I guess, supposedly best friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, that's your best friend, but your parents don't know that the other exists. I guess Victor knows that Catherine existed, but...
Well, they didn't know that Catherine was friends with Angela, but they're best friends, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Victor knew.
Victor knew.
But what's her name? Maddie?
The two parents?
Miranda and Tony? Yeah, the two parents. They didn't know? But that's your best friend? Exactly.
Well, I guess that's the thing, is they didn't know each other, and then all of a sudden they're forced to be with each other through the forced message of community. And now we come together.
No. I don't know. I don't buy it. Victor didn't give a fuck about any of these people. He just wanted his daughter to be okay.
How did Victor develop?
He didn't
develop. What was his character arc? Because
he was a believer for a split second. And then everyone, which was my fucking favorite part of the whole movie, when Father Maddox dies, after he dies, then Victor all of a sudden is a non-believer again. Because before, the father tells him, like, the Vatican told me I can't perform this exorcism. I'm sorry. And he's like, well, screw you. I believe. We all believe. We're going to do it without you.
He was just in the heat of the moment.
I don't know.
Yeah, and then he dies. Maddox.
I know. That was my favorite scene when he came in. Like, dude, I even cheered. I'm like, yes, now we have someone that fucking knows what they're doing coming in to cast these demons out. All these bobo heads don't know what they're doing. They've never done this before.
Yeah, but at the same time, I did like that they tried to take it into their own hands, because they were like, fuck the church, that, they are...
Yeah.
They're slow. They don't know what they're doing. They got too many policies and procedures.
I like that. Didn't like how that was executed.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the big reveal or I guess the big climax for Victor's character, when the possessed Angela, was like, talking about, you never wanted me kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
he didn't even, I don't remember, but did he even say, I'm so sorry? I should have picked you and let your mom die? She died anyway?
Yeah, it was weird, right?
It was weird. And he didn't even conquer his stare trauma.
That was weird.
That was so weird.
That was weird, too.
That was so weird.
There's some weirdness happening here,
yes, for sure.
My eyes have been opened.
Well, I did like that they had the two girls hooked up to the machines to, like, monitor their vitals. I like that. I don't like that the only reason they did that was just so their heartbeats could beat at the same time, and then for them to say, oh, it's the same demon, or whatever they said. I don't like that that's what they used that for. I thought we were about to have some, like, science mix in here. I don't know. If you wouldn't have said anything about the monitors, that would have been, and just let us listen to the sounds, that would have been great. Don't point out that their heartbeats are matching or whatever.
I don't know why that matters, that it's the same demon, or, because it's not really...
Maybe you have to perform 2 exorcisms if it's a different demon?
Yeah, well, sometimes I guess you need to know the name, right, to cast them out and stuff. So that's fair. But can we not? There's 2 more movies. Can we not think it's 2 demons and then we're revealed to at some point that it's 1 demon? And they do
Oh,
it in a creative way,
yeah.
not through the heartbeats lining up, because that's, I don't know, that's weird. I mean, that's not enough, I guess, for me to think, oh, it's for you, like, oh, they're the same demon. Like, I don't know. Yeah, this is falling apart for me right before my eyes.
I'm so sorry. But no, I feel like that was a miss. I feel like it was a good choice to hook them up, and then they didn't know what to do with it. Just sounds, dude. Just sounds. All we needed was the sounds from those machines.
Yeah, which is a funny thing to say because the Exorcist sound design was very iconic and editing was very iconic and great. It holds up. It's very good. I guess I do kind of like the poeticness of the fact that the Exorcist 100% inspired, maybe even ripped on by the original Halloween soundtrack, original like kind of score.
Okay.
And all Halloween sounds to come after, really. That's where, like, just the holiday Halloween sounds, they all start with The Exorcist. And David Gordon Green here has his own, he just finished his own Halloween trilogy. So I think it's kind of fun that he managed to get The Exorcist under his belt, too, in that way. That's kind of fun for him. I wonder if he's going to continue with the rest of them.
Well, I think the next one, I don't know what it's called. The one that's releasing in 2025, Deceiver, The Exorcist Deceiver. It's already on his filmography, on his wiki page.
Yeah,
and
he'll probably be doing it.
So he's listed as the director and the writer and executive producer. So yes, right?
Probably.
I'm sure this is something that can be changed, but
yeah, for sure. They got a lot to make up. They haven't even gotten close to their $400 million kind of buy-in.
Ooh, rough, dude.
And then on top of the production of the movie, and then, everything else that goes along with a movie. Because this movie was advertised quite a bit, so.
Yeah, it was hard not to see anything on this movie.
Yeah.
I really had to try for this one to not look at anything, not click on anything.
And the funny thing is really nothing to spoil. Because there's not really anything happens. I guess the intro, the first, minus the intro, but the introduction to Angela and her life and stuff, and the early stages of the possession, you get some decent jump scares, right?
Oh, yeah, I didn't even talk about those. There were a few jump scares. There were 2 big ones that got me for sure. In the beginning, when the dad lifted the rock and a snake crawled out and almost bit his ass, that got me. And I was ready for it. I was like, this is the kind of movie that's gonna make me, not be able to sleep tonight. I was so excited. But then we didn't really get anything else until the bit where possessed Angela appears behind her dad, and like Angela looks at possessed Angela. That fucking got me for sure, really bad. But then that was it. I was kind of mad because I was getting ready to get spooked, and it didn't quite happen like I wanted it to. But there were some, at least 2 really decent jump scares.
Yeah, I'm surprised that snake got you in the beginning. That's funny.
I think because I knew what I was getting into. My mindset was there. But then the movie was so bad, it got me out of it. So how did you feel about the exorcism itself and basically the demon making them choose who's going to live and who's going to die, or who's going to go to hell? How our demon here was up to some tricks. And Tony just, I choose you, Pikachu. Kills him.
Yeah, he was a wild card from the beginning.
Because he wasn't even there for a bit of it. He was outside, right?
Yeah, he couldn't be in the room. Because he was standing on the other side. When he said it, he was like, I choose you. He wasn't even in the room then.
That's true.
He was like in the hallway or something. Couldn't look at him. Which was just weird. He was just a coward. He was just this loose cannon. He resorted to violence. He was a weird character who needs a little more texture if they're going to be so, wild. There's something fun to it, but everything that went along with it was just not good.
Yeah, it's like the concept was good.
Because I think the mom was immediately like, they can't go to hell, they're both children or whatever, or something like that.
No, that's funny.
I was just like, what? This is...
You just told us she wasn't baptized. She's going.
Yeah, that's true. It may have been the nurse who said that too. I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, it wasn't enough for me. This is when the demon gets the nastiest, both physically and verbally, emotionally. And we had just a tinsy, tiny bit with Angela telling her dad, like, hey, you fucking didn't pick me, so pick me now.
Yeah, but you have to...
But that was it.
Have some character there and make us care for these characters for that to have any effect. Because it was really just shock value, I guess, because we killed the priest by twisting his neck.
Yes.
Which is cool, but it really is just, it should be really, those moments really should just be the cherry on top to the other nasty stuff that the demons are saying. Because
all Catherine said was, Mommy, help me. Mommy, help me.
Yeah.
Pick me. What about me, Mommy?
Because the meat of a demon tricking you and fucking being vulgar and stuff is what they say. That's the meat of the demon. It's not them killing people.
Mm-hmm.
That's boring. You know, you have to earn the kills, you know, and sometimes the little funny kills like killing that priest guy are, you know, they're pretty effective, and they're, you know, when you use them conservatively.
Yeah,
don't get too crazy with it.
With his death, I just love that he came in to save the day, and how excited I was that he came to save the day, and then they killed him. That's why I loved it. Because my hopes were fucking up. My hopes were, oh, we're good.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome. Yeah, I guess I didn't really like anything about it, other than I do like the community matters most, because religion was born out of community, and now religion separates us thing. But I guess it was a little too cheesy at the end of the day for me.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't want to see that, because it might be the reality of it, but maybe that's not a cinematic theme that's worthwhile. They did try to pull a little quick flashes of demon faces here and there. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, the editing.
Mm-hmm. That's a very Exorcist thing from the original one.
Okay. It didn't belong here.
It felt like they were in a boardroom and they were like, all right, how can we tie it to the Exorcist? Because we obviously can't get Chris to reprise any role. So what can we do to kind of get it thematically, symbolically, aesthetically kind of in the same ballpark? And I guess that's one of the choices they took. I was like, that was weird. I don't know, it didn't seem like it fit the mood of the rest of the film. I guess that's another problem with the film, is the mood felt so bland. There was no personality in how it was shot. The colors, everything was very, I don't know. It's like in a lot of horror movies, Blumhouse suffer from this. I don't know what happened at some point, but I wish movies looked a little more grainy more often.
Okay.
Because things can, and where it makes sense, it's cool, but things can look sterile and very digital and crispy where it makes sense. But I think most of the time it doesn't make sense for everything that looks super crispy and just, I don't know. It reminds me of like a David Fincher thing. I don't know if that's the inspiration, if he was just that influential as a director and editor, but when I see that, I think of his movies and how everything just looks super dramatic for really no reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Dramatic in, I don't know, color. It's not really I don't know how to say it, but it just doesn't fit the tone of the movie. The lack of, I don't know. Did we have a tone in this movie?
Monotone?
Sort of monotone, yeah.
How did you feel about the title, Believer, and the fact that there wasn't a title card?
Oh yeah, there was no title card. That was weird.
That was weird.
Yeah, the Believer thing, I guess, just helps round out that we're trying to convince Victor of something, that to believe in community, to believe in something. I don't know. I guess I don't know. We should have just called it The Exorcist.
1.5?
No, just The Exorcist. It's just something new. It's just the name The Exorcist. Because you can't tell me that's unusable just because there's another Exorcist movie. Every movie, there's so many Exorcist movies have the word Exorcist in them.
That's
The
true.
Exorcist, even. And why did we spend all this money on trying to get Chris involved? I don't know. That would have helped.
And I guess we did have a title card at the end, and then they played the Exorcist sound, and that would have been a great choice if we felt like this was something related to The Exorcist, the first one, but it wasn't. So it was just kind of out of place. It was forced. It was very forced. Like, okay, you didn't put a title card in the beginning just so you could do this? Nah. No.
It's like someone read a recipe and got all the ingredients, but didn't know how to make Grandma's famous chicken and gizzards.
Ew. That was your first problem right there.
That they're making chicken and gizzards?
Yep. Where it's like, you have allergies, so you substituted some things. Or you're on some dietary restriction. I don't know, maybe you're a vegetarian, so you substitute the chicken. What?
Yeah, we need the meat. Oh, man. Well, thank you for watching this movie with me.
You're welcome.
You have a budget guess?
I do. So my budget guess is 20 million, and here's why. So the 1970s one was 12 million, and his last movie, I guess the Halloween one, was 33 million. So I went around that ballpark.
Okay.
And picked 20.
Okay. I hear you. Well, it says here that the budget was 30 million.
Ooh.
So.
Okay, not too off.
It's
a big budget.
That's a little much. Yeah, that seems a little high. But I guess if the Halloween films were that much, and it's not doing super well, especially next to a real. It's it's this budget plus talent, whatever,
okay.
plus the next two movies, plus the $400 million buy-in fee to even make a so-called Exorcist film.
And so that 400 they have to pay every film?
No, they paid $400 million. I don't know if it was cash.
So he could forever now?
Yeah, now they own the rights to.
Okay, gotcha.
The Exorcist.
So for the next two movies or however many they want to do, he doesn't have to pay those again.
Yeah, Universal got the rights.
Gotcha. Okay. Continue.
It probably wasn't cash, but so it says here on the wiki that it has garnered 121 million.
Ooh.
So it's definitely making money, but you got to keep in the back of your mind that 400 is also.
I'm keeping that in the front of my mind.
Yeah, they are too.
Ooh.
Universal is too, and so that they've probably made. I don't know, man. They've advertised the shit out of this movie. So I mean, they've probably made 60 million, maybe 50 million,
and it's
against that 400 million. So they've got a long way to go,
and it's been out for a while. How long has it been out?
2 months, I think.
Oh, they're done.
Yeah, they're done with this one.
Dang. Gordon Green.
Well, fortunately, he's just a director. You know what I mean? He's fine.
That's true, but it's his name. It's his reputation.
That's true, but it sounds like his reputation was fucking ruined by Halloween anyways.
Oh, okay. So he don't give a fuck.
He's making that money, and yeah, man. Do you have a game for me today?
I do have a game for you today. Today we have exorcism. Would you rather? Would you rather witness an exorcism in the dark with sound only, or watch it but not be able to hear anything?
I guess watch it.
What if they're like, watch out? Or the demon says, now I'm gonna kill you all, but you don't know, like you don't have a chance to run. But it's like a million times creepier not being able to see anything. So all right. You're gonna watch it, sounds like.
I'm gonna watch it, yeah.
All right. Would you rather have the knowledge to prevent a possession before it happens, or be able to pick who gets possessed? You going good here, or you going evil here? Or I guess you could still go good.
I guess
You could
I'm gonna pick someone. I'm gonna pick a world leader.
Who?
A world leader.
Oh,
I'm gonna
shit.
shake some shit up.
Oh, shit. You could pick, like, rapists or murderers and get their ass possessed, but nah, you're gonna go world leaders.
I'm gonna pick the head of the Saudi royal family.
Oh my god.
Shake some shit up.
Would you rather experience your worst fear during an exorcism or witness someone face their worst fear? Someone you love.
I guess
You can't pick someone random.
witness, so like it actually happens.
Yes.
Worst fear?
Worst fear.
Well, everyone's worst fear is probably someone dying.
Not mine.
What's your worst fear?
I don't know. Not dying.
I guess someone else's
I
worst fear.
welcome that. Maybe.
I mean, I guess someone else's worst fear. I mean, I'm not afraid of nothing, but
Dang.
that's what I mean. Maybe me. What are they gonna do?
Kill me.
I'm already dead
I'm
on the inside.
Oh my god. What are they gonna do? Kill me? I'm already dead on the inside. Trick question. Probably worst fear is roller coaster rides that go upside down. I'd rather die.
Damn. Okay. That's my worst fear too.
No.
Put me on that roller coaster. I
have
dare
fun
you.
with those. All right. Would you rather have the power to banish any demon at will, but no one will believe you, or be a really well-known, seasoned demon banisher, but you only resolve 25% of your cases? Everyone knows you're the shit. Everyone worships you because you banish demons.
25% is not bad.
But 25%.
That's not bad. 1 in 4.
Or all of them.
Yeah, but if no one knows
But
you,
no one knows.
are you getting exercise work?
Are you exercise? I guess not. If no one believes you.
So
I guess desperate moms.
it sounds like you're not. It sounds like you don't
do much.
So I guess I'm going the 25%.
Oh shit! All right.
Can't win them all.
You can't win them all. That's for sure.
All right, man. Well, thank you for watching this movie with me. Thank you for talking about this movie too.
You're welcome. No problem. Happy to talk.
And thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Philistines. I hope you guys were entertained or informed or persuaded like I was. Remember, you can join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for brand new episodes of the Philistines. Leave nice reviews, comments, concerns. You can listen to us on all platforms.
Even high platforms?
Even high platforms. But until next time, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Philistines. Thanks for tuning in and joining us on our cinematic journey. We hope you enjoyed our discussion and gained some new insights and perspectives on the world of movies. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, especially Patreon at patreon.com/Philistines, and follow us on social media for more film-related content. We love hearing from our listeners, so if you have any feedback, suggestions, movie recommendations, or book recommendations, please feel free to reach out to us. Until next time, keep watching, keep loving the magic of movies. This is the Philistines signing off.